We love it. Let me ask you. Mr. President, let me ask you this. Between
Kamala's toast.
this is a very tough interview.
One thing I'll say is that we did great in 2016. We did much better in 2020. We got millions of more votes. But there has never been enthusiasm like we have now. I mean, I see it all over. There's never been anything. And I hear the polls are very close and we have a little lead and I just find it hard to believe because, first of all, they've been so bad. They've done such a bad job, but that's why the enthusiasm is so good because they never had anything to compare it by. I ran and I didn't have anything at all. I just was a successful businessman and we did a good campaign. But the next time we had something special. We could talk about what we did, but we never could imagine we'd have borders where 20 million people are poured into our country. Many criminals from all over the world are coming into our country. They're coming from jails, from not just South America, from all over the world. They're coming in at levels that nobody's ever seen. They're coming from prisons. They're allowing prisoners to come out of all countries. That almost 180 countries represented over the last number of months. 180. Most people don't know that you have that many countries. They're emptying out their prisons and jails. They're emptying out their mental institutions and insane asylums. They're emptying out the sickest people, and they're emptying all into the United States. And you said it better than anybody. More terrorists have come into the United States in the last 3 years than I think probably 50 years. There's never been anything like it. These people are so bad. They're so dangerous. What they've done to our country is they're destroying our country, and we can't let this happen. If they won, you'd have not 20 million, you'll have 100 million people. You won't have Social Security, you won't have Medicare, you won't have anything already. If you take a look at the numbers, they're filling up and loading up Social Security, Medicare with illegal immigrants that have come into our country, many of them from jails and many of them from very bad places. And we're not going to destroy our country, Sean.
I'm going to play Kamala Harris and the comments that she has made about the border, because I think this is important. I want to play her in her own words about this. You're right. We have people, almost 11 million plus. We don't know how many gotaways there are. We have hundreds of known terrorists that have entered the country. We don't know what countries they've come from. We're allowing people in. They've come in from Iran, Syria, Egypt, Afghanistan, China, tens and tens of thousands, Russia, Venezuela. I don't think they're coming here because they want a better life, as maybe some other people are. And we know nothing about them. We haven't vetted them. I scroll the names often on this show of people that have been murdered, people that have been raped, people victims of violent crime. And this is all happening by unvetted Harris Biden illegal immigrants. What is I can play your tape. I'll play that maybe after your answer, but what is your reaction to you've spoken to some of the families of loved ones.
I said at the beginning, I heard they were going to have open borders. They want open borders. She wants open borders. Now she's all of a sudden saying, I think we'll close the borders. She was the border czar, whether you like it or not. But even if you don't want to use that term, she was in charge of the border. It's the worst border in the history of the world, not just here. There's never been a country that allowed 21 million people to come in over a 3-year period. There's never been. And 21 million people, many of whom are from prisons, many of whom are murderers and drug dealers and child traffickers. And by the way, women traffickers. Women trafficking is the biggest, and they're traffickers in women. And they're coming in now, and they're putting them in our Social Security accounts, and they're putting them in our Medicare. And just one thing, if you take a look over the last week, I said this was going to happen, and it's happening because these people are tougher than our criminals. Our criminals are nice people by comparison. That's the only good thing. We're showing how nice our criminals are. They came from 22 people recently came from the Congo in Africa. Where do you come from? Prison. What did you do? We refused to say. We're letting everybody in. We're letting everybody in. Take a look at Aurora in Colorado, where Venezuelans are taking over the whole town. They're taking over buildings, the whole town. And the sheriff, who can blame them? I mean, they have AK-47s. You saw it the other day. They're knocking down doors and occupying apartments of people. The people are petrified, and it's getting worse and worse. You look at New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, and now you look at all over the place. You take a look at Iowa, Idaho, places that never had the problem. They're pouring in. 21 million people, that's bigger than New York. And we have to stop it. And we have to do the largest deportation in the history.
Let me play for you. And this is really a problem for the campaign, in my view, is early voting is about to start. And I don't know how many Americans are truly familiar with her positions of decriminalizing illegal immigration and free housing, healthcare, education. Tim Walz wants free college education, legal driver's licenses.
I was so honored today.
And she wants a path to citizenship.
His brother endorsed me.
I saw it.
And his whole family. I saw the picture. And honestly, it was a very nice looking family. But
you could skip this ad, but don't skip the part that can help you get the job done. At Grainger, we're here for you with supplies and solutions for every industry. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Public education or public health, period.
We have to have a secure border, but I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals. That's correct.
The border is secure.
Listen, I think there's no question that we've got to critically re-examine ICE and its role and the way that it is being administered and the work it is doing, and we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
So, and now she wants to offer a path to citizenship, which by any definition would be amnesty. Your reaction?
But, well, before you even start with that, of course it's ridiculous. You can't do it. No country could sustain this. But she wants no fracking in Pennsylvania. She wants no fracking. And she said it 100 times. There will be no fracking. There will be no fracking. There will be no fracking. Then just recently she said, yes, I could approve fracking. Look, this is a woman who is dangerous. I don't think too smart, but let's see. But she loses her train of thought a lot. She goes, that's why she doesn't want to do interviews. Can you imagine her doing an interview like this or like any of them? I mean, she did an interview with Dana Bash on CNN. And, you know, I have to tell you, Dana Bash did the debate with Joe Biden with, I used to call him Fake Tapper, but I don't do that anymore. You know why? Because he was very honorable and so was she. And I thought that she would give a fair interview based on the debate because she was fair. I was surprised, to be honest with you. I didn't expect that, but she was fair. I thought I did well. I don't think he did too well. Although a friend of mine said, you shouldn't have done the interview. He's not going to make it. And you know what? He didn't make it. You know, think of this. It's very unfair in a lot of ways. I complain about it. But she ran against him in the primary. She got no votes. And she was the first to leave. 22 people or something like that. And she dropped. She was down to nothing, never even made Iowa. And he got 14 million votes and they threw him out. They said, we want you out. And he wasn't going to win, I don't think. I mean, I don't think he was going to win, but we did a good debate. We had a good debate, and it was a fair debate. And he was down like 18 or 19 points after the debate. And I hate mosquitoes. I'm surprised I didn't think we had. We don't like those mosquitoes running around. We want nothing to do with them. And we want nothing to do with bad politicians that hate our country, too. You want to know the truth. But they went to him and they said, we want you out. You're not going to win. And it was really a coup when you think about it. And the woman who came in, the person that came in last, I mean, she came in last. She was the first one out of all those people. You had many people that did pretty well. It was actually close at the end. And then in South Carolina, and by the way, New Hampshire was so badly treated by the Democrat Party and by Joe Biden and her. I can't imagine New Hampshire voting for him. Anybody in New Hampshire, because they're watching right now, but anybody in New Hampshire that votes for Biden and Kamala, I really think, I call her a comrade, Kamala, because that's what her ideology is. But you know that she did something after decades and decades and decades. It was Iowa, the first two, Iowa, New Hampshire. And that's the way people thought it was going to be. He didn't want to go to New Hampshire. He didn't want to play the New Hampshire game. And so he went to a different state. We won't mention. It's a great state. I won it by a lot. I love that state. But he dumped New Hampshire. And I said to people today, who the hell from New Hampshire would vote for this guy? He changed the whole primary system. He changed the whole system because he took them out of the order. I think it's going to have a big effect. We really want to win New Hampshire. I've done well there, and we really want to win New Hampshire.
Let me go back to the issue, and it's a big issue in the state of Pennsylvania, and you mentioned it. And let me just tell the audience so everybody is fully aware, is that tonight Fox offered a debate opportunity between you and Kamala Harris, and I was not going to be here, but it was going to be Brett and Martha.
This was supposed to be a debate.
Right. So
I would have preferred.
I think
he's a nice guy, but I would have preferred a debate.
Thanks a lot.
But this is the best we could do, Sean.
You're stuck with me.
No,
let me though play, because the big issue in this state is the issue of banning fracking. Now, in that, I thought it was a horrible interview and a missed opportunity. Do you know, for 16 minutes, she spoke for 16 minutes and 29 seconds. And that whole interview, the only interview, you and J.D. Vance have done, this is your 36th interview or press conference between the two of you. And we don't know if she supports the Green New Deal she co-sponsored with Bernie Sanders that would cost $93 trillion. We don't know if she stands by that. We don't know if she supports Medicare for all that would eliminate all private health insurance. We don't know if she would really ban fracking. Now, in the CNN interview, she said, well, I said in 2020 that, I would not ban fracking. CNN had to fact check her and say, no, she never said it. This is what she really said.
Will you commit to implementing a federal ban on fracking your first day in office, adding the United States to the list of countries who have banned this devastating practice?
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So, yeah.
So would you ban offshore drilling?
Yes. And I've, again, worked on that.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, you're a better businessman than I am. Isn't energy, fracking, oil, the lifeblood of the world's economy?
So the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania cannot even take a chance, because that's the real opinion from her. Now, the whole country would go down the tubes if you didn't do the fossil fuel thing. It just would go. And you can do all sorts of other things. But, you know, Germany tried it, and it lasted for about 9 months, and they were going to go down the tubes entirely. And somebody else came in and I hate to say they're building a coal plant every single week, and they're building nuclear, and they're doing a lot of things. It's never worked. It never will work. But Pennsylvania can't take a chance that that answer is true. But she's been there for 20 years. That's what she's been saying for a long time. And she will do that. There's no chance that she's going to allow it. The election will take place. If she won, you're not going to have any fracking in Pennsylvania. You have 500,000 jobs. Think of that. It's your biggest business. And you get a big majority of your income from fracking. And you have somebody that's not going to allow fracking. She's not going to allow it. You can't take the chance. You have no choice. You've got to vote for me. You've got to vote for me. You got to. Even if you don't like me, you know?
Yeah.
It's no, but even if you don't like me, you can sit there and say, I can't stand that guy, but there's no way I'm going to vote for her. No, you have to have fracking. You know, you're the biggest in the country for this. You have two of the biggest sites in the world. It's a massive business for Pennsylvania, and you can't take a chance. She will not allow fracking. She's not going to, and she's got a lot of other problems too. But for your particular, for the Commonwealth, you have no choice
if I may,
but to allow it.
16 minutes and 30 seconds are up. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, man.
The president has spoken for a total of 16 minutes and 30 seconds.
I'll say something else though.
Real quick, because we got a break.
If you watch that interview, she had notes. That means she knew the questions, and she had notes. She kept looking down, up. Nobody wants to cover it. I know all about notes. I mean, you know, it's all right if people know that, but she wasn't supposed to have notes. So she's asked a question. She looks down. She keeps on. She had notes. That means she knew that she knew what was happening.
Did her campaign, when they said that they wanted to change the rules that they had agreed to, did they ask for notes? Did they ask for the?
They wanted notes.
They wanted to be seated, and they wanted your mic hot.
And they wanted a desk. They didn't want to do. I said, you got to do a stand up.
After they already agreed to the other.
Yeah, but they wanted a desk from the beginning. You know who else wanted a desk? Sleepy Joe. He wanted a desk.
All right, we got to take a break. More with President Trump. We are in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. We'll continue our town hall. We'll get audience questions and much more. Thank you for being with us.
All right, so when they come back, they're going to start taking questions from the audience. When they go to the commercial here and they come back, I'll cut right back to it. So right now they're running a commercial, and we can take some more of your comments. As you're seeing right now, when they come back, Hannity just said they're going to start taking the questions from the audience, which I can't wait to see. I'm not sure how many people are watching, but thank you very much. It looks like it's a big crowd. I know at this point the moderators are having a hard time with all these trolls, but that's all Kamala has. They want to come into conservative areas. It's not a safe space. If you got something to say, we'll listen. But if you're just trolling, you know, the people here, the moderators are going to catch up with you and bounce you. But if you got something to say it. You know, he said something right there. This woman wants to do a debate, agreed to the same terms that Dementia Joe agreed to, and then at the last minute decide, hey, I need to change it. I want to be sitting down. I don't want to stand up for an hour and a half. Trump said, no. I want to bring notes to the debate so that, you know, I know I'm getting the questions in advance, because she probably is, but I still can't do it. I still can't basically generate an answer that makes sense without me flipping through some notes. So for the next 5 or 6 days, and you trolls, I don't care what you say, she's going into the bunker for 6 days to just basically cram and learn the answer to the questions and practice her zingers. Oh, I'm speaking right now. I'm speaking. No, not going to work. If she doesn't come out, and God forbid she doesn't, if she doesn't come out with her A game on September 11th, oh my gosh, can't believe it's September 11th, this race is over. Over. The pressure on her is much bigger than the pressure on Trump. She doesn't have the closing ability that Trump has. He's going to be a fire starter for the rest of the election season, all the way through to November 5th. This guy has the energy of the Energizer Bunny. I don't know how. He'll talk to anybody, anywhere. He'll go anywhere. And one of the things I think he's doing that's really, really making a difference, huge difference, is he's not using television so much. Doesn't need to. What he's doing is basically going to the people. He's having these podcasters with tens and millions of people that he ordinarily wouldn't reach. And he's reaching them, and they're responding. And there's a couple people that he probably hasn't gone on yet, but I'm pretty sure. I'm almost positive it's coming. Watch out for a Joe Rogan podcast with Trump. I would almost guarantee you it's coming. I think RFK Jr. is going to go ahead and set that up, and that's going to be huge, bigger than this thing even is, probably bigger than a debate. And then I would expect that he, Elon Musk, maybe Tulsi, maybe RFK Jr. are going to go back on Twitter/X and do another live spaces. Remember, when he did that, and we watched it or listened to it, 1 billion people saw that. Kamala Harris hasn't been in front of 1 billion people probably her entire 3.5 years she's been vice president. 1 billion people have seen that one interaction between he and Elon Musk, which is probably why they're trying their best to shut him up. It's not working. So once he goes back to X and does that live talk, and he goes on with, Joe Rogan and a couple other people, she can't touch him. The interview he just did, I checked it this morning, it had millions of views. She's not getting that kind of input whatsoever. None of it. Can we just have Tulsi go stand in and just crush Kamala like a bug? That would be pretty cool. See, Hannity grounds Trump, very good pair. Yeah, he keeps them in order, doesn't let them go too far off tangent at all. Please stop the newcomers from voting. Yeah, that's definitely what we need. Woodland Park, Colorado for Trump. You people in Colorado, man, that's crazy. Is the debate? Yes, the debate will be live streamed here. I will basically be doing the same thing you're seeing tonight. Interacting with everybody as much as possible. We have a great chat family that comes on. Those of you who haven't been here, you're seeing a different kind of experience. You're allowed to talk to each other. So let's, still going with the commercial. Yeah, talk to each other, get to know people. Some of these people are regulars. They've been here for quite some time. You got some moderators. I'm not sure who's on tonight. SV, Tommy Lawrence, Cindy, and my daughter Ashley. They're all trying to monitor all these chats. There's just a ton of them. I mean, just an absolute ton. As of right now, there have been over 10,000 comments. Love it. Thank you very, very, very much. If this is your first time, make sure you get back here for the debate. This is what we do here. Subscribe, and do me a favor. It's free. All I need to do is this.
Come on, show some love and click that like button.
That's all you got to do. Just click that like button. Let YouTube know that you want to be here. They still haven't come back on. Still running commercials. Ashley is here. Yes, she's here somewhere. She's trying to do it as well. There's just so much going on. Let's see what else we got here. Cleveland, Ohio says they're for Trump. USA for Trump. This is going to be so big. All right, here we go here. They're talking about Kamala.
Also have the courage to reject that term illegal alien. I have seen some of the worst of criminal behavior. I have seen the worst of crime. And undocumented immigrant is not a criminal.
All right, we continue in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. We're broadcasting in front of a massive crowd. By the way, we have in our audience, he is the Republican challenger to a very 98.6% Joe Biden, Kamala Harris voting supporter. Dave McCormick is running against Senator Casey in what is a very important race. Dave, great to have you.
Thank you.
Now, you just heard Kamala Harris, our country's failed border czar, talking about her commitment. You need the courage to never say the word radical Islamic terrorism or illegal alien. President Trump is back with us. What is your reaction to that? Because who attacked us on 9/11 and who's crossing our border?
So she wants to be politically correct, and we can't be politically correct anymore. Look, we have October 7th. People saw it. We have things going on in the world right now with Israel and with the Middle East is blowing up. It's blowing up. We have Ukraine and Russia. That would never happen. That would have never happened. October 7th would have never happened. If I were the president, it would have never happened, and everybody knew it. Iran was broke. They didn't have the money for Hamas and for Hezbollah. They didn't have the money for anybody. They wanted to get by. And we would have made a fair deal with them. I was only looking to make a fair deal with them. But, you know, I wanted to say it so much during my term. We went 4 years without any blow-ups. We had no World Trade Center blow-up. We had no radical Islamic terror. We had no radical Islamic terror because we were very tough at the borders and we were very tough with our statements, and we had the whole world was a safe place. That was the question they asked Viktor Orban, who's really considered a very strong. They said he's a strong man. Sometimes you need a strong man. He's a strong man. He's the prime minister of Hungary. And he said, you bring back Trump, everybody. Now, I'm not saying it, but he said it because I'd rather say respect. But he said, everybody was afraid of Trump. You bring him back, you're not going to have any problems. It's all going to go away. The world is blowing up. The world is blowing up.
This brings.
And Sean, one thing.
Yeah.
The world is blowing up. And when you look at Ukraine and you look at Russia, you look at all the things that are happening, we are potentially getting ready. I'm telling you, and I've made a lot of predictions, and this is not a prediction because it's so bad. I don't want it to be a prediction. We're heading into World War III territory. And because of the power of weapons, nuclear weapons in particular, but other weapons also, and I know the weapons better than anybody because I'm the one that bought them and we rebuilt our entire military. We upgraded our entire program. And you know, the one program I hated to upgrade, hated it, was the nuclear program. And I understand it maybe better than anybody. My uncle was at MIT, a professor, the longest serving professor in the history of MIT, a very smart guy. We have a smart family. It's nice to have a smart family. But I understood nuclear for a long time, the power of nuclear weapons. You need a president that's not going to be taking you into war. We won't have World War III when I'm elected, but with these clowns that you have in there now, you're going to end up having World War III, and it's going to be a war like no other.
Let me ask you a more personal question, because you paid a very big price for getting into the political arena. Never mind opportunity costs that you would have had. You've had a successful business. Obviously, you've been a victim of lawfare, if you will, or a weaponized Department of Justice. Although the Supreme Court ruling on immunity, I think, was very clear, although certain judges may not abide by it.
Yeah.
And I listened to you talk about the borders. I listened to you talk about how dangerous the world situation is. I listened to you talk about the economy.
Oops, sorry, wrong button.
And then I asked myself, okay, why is this different? If 2016 was about the forgotten man and forgotten woman, what is 2024 about?
So it's not that different. It's still about the forgotten man and the forgotten woman. The people are being treated horribly in this country. We're a country that's being laughed at all over the world. And I'll be honest, if Joe Biden would be a great president, I would be happier than being the worst president in the history of our country, because I want to see what's good for the country. And I would have been very happy. I have very nice places I could be. This is not easy. I got shot at, I got hit. I could have been all over that place. I could have, but you know what? It's very simple, and it starts with make America great again. That's what we have to do.
It makes me think that if you look at if you look at everything that we discussed tonight, and you look at your platform,
Thank you. Thank you.
what really infuriates me, and I'm straightforward. I'm a member of the press, but I'm a talk show host. I'm a conservative, and people know where I stand. I think the press, they're all liberal talk show hosts, but they're dishonest about who they are, and they have an agenda. They've never played Kamala in her own words. So radical statements or extreme statements, I think dangerous statements. And I just think that if we're talking about the border, all of these 11 million, it was all preventable. I think on the economy, if you had sound economic policy, you handed off 1.4% inflation, we'd be doing better in the economy. We'd be energy dominant by now because we were on a path towards energy dominance. We wouldn't have to, Iran was in check. You had them on the verge of bankruptcy. Russia, you had a relationship with them, and North Korea and the mullahs.
But nobody was tougher with Russia than me. I shut down the biggest pipeline in the world that Russia was building. It was called Nord Stream 2. Nobody ever heard of it. And I said, no way. I said to Germany, there's no way we're going to protect you with NATO and spend billions of dollars protecting Europe, and you guys are going to be buying oil from the person and the group that we're protecting you from. And I shut it down. It was 100% shut down. And then this pathetic person comes in, and he immediately approves it. But he shut down the Keystone XL pipeline, our pipeline. And the head of that union, by the way, the pipe fitters union, the pipeline union, the head of that union nominated and was a big deal in the Biden campaign, and he endorsed him. And those people, 48,000 people lost their jobs. It was all approved. I got it approved. Obama rejected it. I approved it. It was starting. They spent billions of dollars. It was also, and they rejected it. Would have been fantastic for us, including the 48,000 jobs. And what he did is he let Russia build the pipeline that I had stopped. It was totally stopped. Going to Germany and other countries. Think of it. We protect them from Russia, and yet they pay Russia billions of dollars. Does it make sense? So I was the toughest on Russia. Putin would even say, you know, if you're not the toughest guy, you're killing us. I'd hate to see you if you were really tough. This was the biggest job they've ever had, and I stopped it. And you know what? Russia would have been fine. China would have been fine. China was fine. China paid us hundreds of billions of dollars in taxes and tariffs under me. Under no other president, and I mean right from the beginning, did they pay 10 cents.
You know, we're going to get to audience questions. I do have a question as we go to break. And I think this should be a question asked in every presidential election. And I'll ask the people here in Harrisburg, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Okay. When we come back, more former President Trump. We're in Harrisburg, PA, as we continue.
All right, so they're going to another commercial. It's 9:40. They've got 20 minutes left in the hour. He's probably got another commercial or two in here. Got to get some questions from the people. People are going to trash this if they don't get him talking to the actual people. So from here on out, I hope when they come back, it's all about talking to the actual people. MAGA, make America godly again. Yes, we're going to do our next prayer meeting next Thursday. So next Thursday is the 11th, which is a good day to do it. And it's also the day after the debate. So join us on September 11th for our next prayer meeting. If you're a Christian and you want to be amongst 30, 40, 50,000 other Christians and you have prayer requests, come on and join us in the prayer meeting where we definitely want to see Make America Godly again, Make America Pray again. Let's get it back to where it's supposed to be. Montreal, Quebec loves Trump. Trump is the MAGA king. 43,000 viewers. Thank you very much. If this is your first time, we've built quite the little community here. We love talking to everybody. I love where everybody interacts on their own. Yes, we do have some trolls. They have to come in here. They've been paid. They've been told to attack people. They never have anything good to say. But nonetheless, they're here. So thank everybody for joining us tonight. This is a very special broadcast. Obviously, the debate didn't happen, so he did a town hall, and in my estimation, he is basically slaying Kamala Harris. She has no retort. If she was here, she could come back at him, but nope, he's got the entire stage. He's got basically an audience of probably of millions of people who are just seeing him talk again. He's just out there. I know he says a lot of the same things that he says in his rallies, but a lot of people haven't seen these things. I personally have been to 3 or 4 rallies, but nonetheless, you may be new here and you may be new to the chat and you're seeing all these people chatting and everything. You're like, whoa, what's going on here? And they're actually responding to you. Enjoy yourself. Relax. You're amongst friends. And I'm glad you tuned in. So let me take a couple more. God bless the Patriots. For sure. Love that. LOL, trolls have no blood. I am from the USA, from DK. We got decades. The Vikings hit the shore. Absolutely. A man for the people is Trump. Still running commercials. Kamala is hiding. She's going to be hiding. He's got the stage for the next 6 days. I keep seeing a lot of people, inordinate amount of people from Colorado in here tonight. So whatever's happening out there with the Tres Leches or whatever they're called and what they're doing, I cannot believe that the government hasn't sent in a National Guard and just keeps saying, oh, it's just an isolated incident. Meanwhile, your constituents are being terrorized and you don't want to say anything because you don't want Kamala Harris to be stained. Shame on you. Shame on you. Pongo Ellis from New Orleans. Haven't seen many people from New Orleans. Fight, Patriots. And one of the things you're going to see in here, Vicky, thank you very much. You want to talk about diversity? People are coming here from all walks of life, from all different colors, black, white, Hispanic, Native American. We're all here. We want to save America. Got to save America. Nobody else is coming. Ask the people in Aurora, Colorado. No one is coming to help them. No one is coming to help the people in Chicago. We're going to have to make this happen. We're the ones who are going to have to make sure that all this stuff is taken care of. Long Island, New York for Trump. Love it. Love it. Florida loves Colorado. Yeah, I pray for you guys out in Colorado and what you're going through. It's just absolutely nuts. Whew, big one. Sandra, I usually go through all the super chats afterwards, but I saw it pop up, so I want to thank you right off the bat. Thank you very, very much. It's just me, my daughter, sometimes my wife helps out. We're not getting money from Russia, so everything you guys do is greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. Let's see, are they coming back here? Not yet. Jay, Oklahoma for Trump. They better not try that stuff in Stockton, California. The gangs here don't like the competition. Yeah, I did a video yesterday, and I showed one of the American gangs who just went over there and said, no, it ain't happening here. We're taking our country back. I couldn't even imagine. It was stunning that I was watching an American gang going to fight the Tres Leches and saying, not here, this is not in our country. And it made me feel good. I'm like, wow, even an American gang, a bunch of hoodlums are like, no, not here. Also made me realize they probably can't put him in jail. If they put Trump in jail on September 18th, the homies are going to be there with him. I don't think he's going to be in as much danger as everybody thinks. So who knows what they're trying to do, because everything they're doing at this point, nothing is working. And if on September 10th she gets curb stomped in the debate, watch out for what happens in September 11th and on. What we're seeing in Aurora and Philly and Chicago might just be a dry run. They may get these people activated, and who knows. So here we go. We're back in.
Fighting inflation is one of our administration's top economic priorities.
Was it wrong to consider inflation transitory? I mean, these price spikes seem like they're going to be with us for a while.
We have to address the fact that we got to deal with the fact that folks are paying for gas, paying for groceries, and need solutions to it.
Will you commit to implementing a federal ban on fracking your first day in office, adding the United States to the list of countries who have banned this devastating practice.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. And it's rough. Groceries, the cost of groceries has gone up, the cost of gas has gone up. And as this is all happening in the context of 2 years of a pandemic, it's one of the highest priorities actually for the president and for me. That is called Bidenomics. That is called Bidenomics, and we are very proud of Bidenomics.
All right, we continue she's very proud of Bidenomics. In Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, that was Kamala Harris touting her pretty radical beliefs on the economy in her own words. According to Kamala, her values have not changed. We don't know where she stands because she's only done an interview for 16 minutes and 29 seconds spoken. So on the issue of the economy, how many of you in this room, and you can all close your eyes so you're not looking at your neighbor, have struggled economically in the last number of years? Wow. Wow. And when I started my adult life, I struggled to pay my rent. You know my job, so I've listed them 100 times, working in the service industry and bartending and cooking and washing dishes and construction. Not McDonald's, that was a lie. And
By the way, she didn't work at McDonald's, right?
She did not. Well, there's no evidence of it.
Did she work at McDonald's? Because
so far, no evidence.
I don't think so, based on what I saw.
Here's my question. She wants to raise corporate taxes. She wants to raise small business taxes, capital gain taxes, estate taxes, the international corporate minimum tax, to the point where America won't be competitive anymore. And your tax cuts are about to expire in 2025. What does this mean for the economy? What does it mean for everybody here struggling?
So I gave you the biggest tax cuts in the history of our country. If you let the Trump tax cuts expire, which she wants to do, she wants to terminate them. If you do that, you will suffer the biggest tax increase in history. There's never been a tax increase like it. On top of which, she wants to add a lot of tax. This country will end up, and I've said this a lot, and I mean it. This country will end up in a depression if she becomes president, like 1929. This will be a 1929 depression. She has no idea what the hell she's doing.
What if unrealized capital gains taxes were implemented? What would
she wants to do that. This is where you have something, you don't even know what the value is. I tell you what, if that's going to happen, go out and open an appraisal company because you're going to make a fortune. That's about the only group that's going to make it, and accountants. It is the craziest idea. And remember this, very rich people and big international corporations, they don't have to stay in the United States. And they will be forced to leave for other countries. They can't afford to do a thing like that. They may have great wealth and no cash, and they're going to have to pay cash. Where are they going to get the cash? If they do that, the unrealized capital gain, it's been talked about for is by ultra-left Marxists only. Like her father's a Marxist. Her father's a Marxist teacher of economics. Can you believe this? But if that happened, this country, and I think forgetting about that particular, she's got a lot of things that are just as bad. If she gets in, I think we will have a depression. 1929 style depression. That's what I think will happen to our country. Already they've set us on a path.
What about price gauging, as she calls it, or gouging?
Well, she called it gauging.
And what if they implement that and then price controls?
Yeah,
that's been tried in
many times.
The former Soviet Union, Venezuela, even in this country in the 70s, it was a disaster.
Yeah, every time it's been tried, no matter over hundreds of years, not just over hundreds of years, price controls, you end up with no product, you end up with massive inflation, and you end up with the destruction of a country.
How does this impact? How do high interest rates impact? How does inflation impact everybody that's here?
Well, they can't buy a home. They can't do anything. Your business is stopped up. You can't borrow money. And by the way, I had interest rates at 2%. Now they're 10%, but you can't get the money. You can't get the money. There's no money available. So 10% is right. You know, if you can't get the money, 10% is not the right number. It's got to be much more than that. You can't borrow money to buy a house now.
It really is unbelievable. So we have all of this. Now, let me talk about in 6 days, you will have probably your only opportunity to debate Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
If I vote instead of George Stephanopoulos' network that I get to moderate the debate. Just saying. Okay. But
Is he not going to take questions?
ABC is not.
John, ABC is the worst network in terms of fairness. They had a poll where I was 17 points down a couple of days prior to the election. I was 17 points down in Wisconsin. And they do that so people don't vote because, you know, hey, I love Trump, but he's 17 points down. I'm not going to go out and vote. I was 17 points down and I won. And I called the best pollster. I said, why wouldn't they say 5 or 4 or 3? Because at 3, you go and vote. At 17, your people say, I want to vote, but, you know, I'm busy. I have other things to do. Let's go see a movie and we'll watch the results later. They are the most dishonest network, the meanest, the nastiest, but that was what I was presented with. I was presented with ABC, George Slopadopoulos, you know who he is. And he's a nasty guy. And yet, he's a nasty guy. I've had him up to here. But let me tell you, he's a very, very bad kind of a guy. But I watched his interview of Joe Biden. It was like the softest interview I've ever seen. It was softer than the CNN interview of Kamala. So, but they're very nasty. And I think a lot of people are going to be watching to see how nasty they are, how unfair they are. I agreed to do it because they wouldn't do any other network. The other thing is her best friend is the head of the network. Her husband's best friend is married to the head of the network. And they're going to get the questions. I've already heard they're going to get the questions in advance. They even have Donna Brazile. Remember Donna Brazile? She gave Donna Brazile. She's the real beauty. Donna Brazile. She gave Hillary Clinton the questions. You remember that? And she works for ABC, and she's at the round table talking about the debate. So we're going to watch very closely. But you're not allowed to do it. We even have a clause in the contract. You can't give them the questions, but I'm not sure it's going to help her that much, though. I think you might give her the questions and give her the answers with the questions. I'm not sure it's going to help her.
I don't know. All right. Now, so unlike Kamala Harris, our time is actually up. However,
come on.
we're going to let Dave McCormick ask the first question, and we're going to air that not tonight, but tomorrow night.
He always does this.
Come on, Sean.
I do.
Our time's up, but you know what? Let's make 2 shows out of it.
All right. More from President Trump as we continue. We are in the all-important state of Pennsylvania in Harrisburg. Thank you for being with us.
I hope that's not it. I hope they come back. I have 9:55. I hope that's not it. I really do. I mean, Sean just kept going and going and didn't even take a single question from anybody in the audience. That's not a town hall. The media is going to rip him tomorrow if that's it. And they're going to rip him anyway. You went an hour talking to people, talking at people. You had the opportunity to separate yourself big time by actually taking some questions. And Sean Hannity was the wrong person to basically host this. Unbelievable. Come on, man. The commercials took up all the time. I mean, this is going to run. Who knows how long they're going to run right now before they come back. I mean, bad. Hannity's ridiculous. You got 9:55. I've got 9:55. We got 5 minutes. They're running a commercial right now. They're maybe have a chance to get one question in if they can. Yeah, it was great, but disappointing. I could completely agree. They're going to make it 2 shows, but where's the other show? Where is the other show at this point? Because they're going to go off the air. They're not going to bump. Who comes on next at 10 o'clock? 10 o'clock, I believe, is Gutfeld. Are they going to bump Gutfeld? who knows? Let's see. Let's run with this. Push Gutfeld, take some questions. Don't just cut it and leave. That would be horrible. Yeah, Fox is greedy. Yeah, Hannity failed this, had an awesome opportunity. People call me, I may be biased because I am voting for Trump. I really like Trump, but I'm going to call it as I see it. This was a missed opportunity. They had thousands of people in the stands. They could have taken questions instead of just going with the flow for an hour. He just said someone is going to ask questions and it will air tomorrow. Maybe. We'll see. I mean, maybe they're going to do it off the air and take the questions. I don't know. If they do, I'll show it to you as well. It takes Trump's very, very bad show, but still thank you for showing it. Thank you. Second show tomorrow on Hannity. Tomorrow's maybe. We'll see. It's Thursday, but I believe he's got another event tomorrow. Yeah, I'm pretty sure because I'm going to be covering it. So it bums me out. Bums me out that you had a captive audience. You had the entire stage to yourself. You had the entire network to yourself, and you didn't do anything. You didn't do anything. Part 2 tomorrow. Yeah, I'm glad they didn't have the debate at this point. It doesn't look like Fox really wants him to talk. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe the Fox didn't want him to talk at all. We'll see it. When is the other show and where? Tomorrow he's talking. Let me see where that is. I believe it's a noon show. He's talking tomorrow. I'm checking to see if they're coming back while I'm checking this out. Tomorrow at looks like 11 a.m. he's talking to the Economic Club of New York. So he's going to be in New York City talking to them, which will be better than what Sean Hannity did. So, yeah, Hannity failed Trump. Had a huge opportunity here. Huge opportunity. No reflection on you, Barry. Thanks for a great show. I would have done a better job moderating that. Let me see. I'm waiting to see if they come back. It's already 9:58. Come on. Gutfeld should give up the time and let them just keep going. All those people are in the audience in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. They didn't come there to, basically hear Hannity talk like that. Let me see. Still commercials. Trump should not agree to do a debate unless Kamala agrees to do one on Fox. Yeah, it should be fair. Paul Ryan didn't want questions. That's entirely possible. He could have put his thumb on the scale and really caused a problem. Let's see here. Are they going to come back and just say goodbye, or are they going to actually say something? So when will he be broadcasting? Tomorrow at 11, and then again tomorrow at 7 p.m. Trump should not agree to debate unless, let's see, Kamala Harris is the terrorist sympathizer. They're running a lot of commercials, not showing them coming back. It's 9:59. The TV clock, when you talk about TV clock, the insertions for these shows, it looks like they're probably going to come back and go, oh, thank you, good night, and then go right to Gutfeld. Crazy. Maybe this was a setup by Fox just to show the debate. I don't know. But in any event, let's see what they do here when they come back. Are they just going to roll tape and go to a goodbyes? But they're still running commercials. Still commercials are running. Yeah, Tucker would have kept going for sure. I believe Tucker would have kept it going. Oh, here they're back. Okay.
All right. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have left this evening. Thank you, President Trump. Great to see you. Thank you for being with us. Thank you, Harrisburg. We love you. In the meantime, set your DVR so you never miss an episode. Let not your heartbeat struggle. Greg Gutfeld is next to put a smile on your face. Part 2. Donald Trump tomorrow night.
Oh, okay. All right. So you just heard it. Part 2 will be tomorrow night. So they stretched it for monetary purposes. So they decided they were going to go, part 1 tonight, give you the tease, and then they're going to do part 2 tomorrow night. So it looks like we'll all be back here tomorrow night to hear the rest of the story. We're going to do it like Paul Harvey style. Now you know the rest of the story. So tomorrow, 9 o'clock, come back. Please come back. It wasn't my fault. They didn't tell me what their programming was going to be, but tomorrow at 9 o'clock, we shall continue. I've got to go through, as always here, and thank you, lovely people who contributed to the super chat. And I want to make sure I call everybody's name that did it. Let me get to that page. You guys are awesome, extremely awesome for doing so. Let's see what we got here. And just get this straight. All right. Oh, wow. All right, so I'm going to go through these. Those of you guys who don't want to stay, that's okay, but I have to recognize some awesome people who did a great thing by helping out the channel. Don't forget, if you're bouncing, come back here tomorrow at 9 p.m. So let's go through this and talk to some of these people who've been so gracious. Barbara Farley.